do it. You just set it up there and we can just do the show.
Well, no, I was just going to do just
some information up there. I don't think I do, but...
No, it's not that. I'm going to try to do it where I can't set it to... It says post it public.
Oh, okay.
I want to do it to where it says private. I don't know if it's going to let me or not.
Private? Why private?
I don't know. I just want to do it quick.
Yeah, on our page, do it public. I was just going to let it run while we're doing the show.
Well, the page is going to be different versus are you talking about the group or the page?
Wait, you can go live on the group?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
As far as you know.
Sideways, will it do that? Wait, I can do it or you can do it? They'll just have to look at us in the green screen. Oh my god, it's like we should get started. I wish I could just make that fade out. You know what? I can. You see how I did that? I made it fade out because I'm awesome. But, so here's the deal. We're getting ready to go live. But we got some technical difficulties, so...
Hey, what else is new?
Yeah, what's new? As it always happens. So, here's what's up.
Here. You're going to have to put that up.
Yep. We'll handle that in just a moment. We'll handle that in just a moment.
You have to post that up there. I can't reach that far.
Oh, for the love of Pete and God. What the hell, man? All right, we're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen. Hey, what's up, y'all? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right.
Scoot up.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Don't worry about that. Worry about this one. That's the finished one. We'll post it on the Facebook page later. At any rate, so here's what we got. On tonight's show, we're
Stuff.
Yeah, stuff. We're going to discuss some topics that the mainstream media doesn't seem to want to touch, including birth tourism, Mexico, how it's officially become the wall, and on the Phobeismist, we're going to tell you why legal immigrants are offensive. All that tonight on the Unframe of Mind show.
Phobeismist. You're listening to the Unframe of Mind show,
Get your
the
keys
place
right.
to have the most mind-stretching,
Keys
unprotected,
work.
intellectual
Work well.
intercourse of your life. Your hosts battle the forces of evil by lobbing fiery balls of truth, reason, and evidence over safe room walls.
All right, and here we go.
What's up, homie?
I'm excited. So here's the deal.
Yep.
I've got 2 live streams running at the same time. Your phone is posting on our group. So anybody that's joining that, if you want to see the actual video, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel because this is, I guess it says it's working, but it's not showing up on Facebook page. So
I'm seeing a pattern here. Every time we have Enrique on the show, this shit happens.
yeah, I think that's...
We got to have a conversation with that man about this.
Yeah, it's his fault. It's probably his fault. Absolutely. All right. So tonight we've got a number of topics on the Unframe of Mind show where we have uncomfortable conversations without a condom. I'm your host, Daniel Wagner.
Anthony Treywig.
And we're nice and straight now and pretty. And we're good. Oh.
No, it wasn't even live.
All right. So now that wasn't even live. Now
we
it's
are live.
live.
We're
All
live
right.
on 2 different programs.
Yeah.
But on multiple
I didn't even know we
live
could go live
streams.
on the group. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought you knew that.
Mm-mm.
No?
No, I sure did not. So that's
okay.
cool. Pretty excited about this. So we've got a few things we want to hit up tonight.
And if you're just tuning into the group page, just a quick filler, we're having difficulties yet again with live streaming on our Facebook page.
Right.
This is the same thing that happened that last time we had Enrique Tario on the page, or on the live stream. It just kind of fucked everything up. So here we are. We're having to do it this way.
Here we go. We're going to make it happen. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good. All right. So tonight, we're going to talk about some illegal immigrant type things. And I think we're going to go ahead and start this party off with our favorite segment of the show, the Phobeismist.
Phobeismist.
Alrighty, and today on the Phobeismist, we're going to explain to you why legal immigrants are hugely offensive. And this is an interesting perspective that I think a lot of people haven't quite figured out just yet. But I think legal immigrants are offensive.
How is that?
Well, see, here's the thing. If you're a legal immigrant, you're actually legitimizing the wall, and you're legitimizing this racist border wall and immigration policy.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, by you standing there, like here, what I write here, every single person waiting in that long line to gain U.S. citizenship legally are literally the KKK. Like, these people are see, because what it is there's all these illegal immigrants trying to get in. They want a better life, but
we should have had Myra on the show for
you've
this.
got the legal immigrants coming in there and fucking it up for them and making them feel bad because they're going about it the easy way,
right?
And then holding, it's a whole mess between the two. It's like, guys, stop doing it legally because you're making us feel bad. It's unacceptable. I'm telling you, these guys sitting here that are coming into the country legally are literally the KKK. I mean, they might as well be. I mean, look at this. Even our own friend Myra, who's recently become
a U.S.
citizen, she is racist too. Listen to the words of an official new member of the KKK.
Woohoo! How does it feel, Myra? It feels amazing. It feels great. Great is the word. This is a huge day for me. So I'm overly excited. I have no words to describe what I feel. I have no words.
See, she has no words. She's so racist that she doesn't even know.
She is carrying a Trump flag. It automatically just makes her racist.
Yeah, I mean, how much more evidence do you need? How much more evidence do you need?
Orange man bad.
Orange man bad. So listen, if you guys are just tuning in on the Facebook group live stream that we've got going on, we're just putting it up for now just to redirect y'all to the YouTube page. So hop on in and head on over there because that's where it's actually working. That's youtube.com/C/unframe of mind for those of you who are all doing it on the long form URLs.
It's the price you pay for having controversial individuals on the show.
Always a complication. We might be live on Facebook. I don't know. It says we are on the.
I never got the notification, so more likely we're not, and we're back in this situation again.
No. So Chemical X11, I think that's 12.
Right.
Chemical 12 on D Live says, "Where do you guys get your Patriot apparel?"
I actually got this when I was in Baltimore.
I love that he said "you guys" as if I'm wearing patriotic apparel. I'm wearing my own brand. Okay.
Yes. As for me, I flew into Baltimore as a layover, and there is actually a store called America. And when you go in there, they've got
America.
a lot of this, America. So no, it's just once you get to know me, I'm a very patriotic dude. I support the military, the police, so forth, and all that.
Blindly.
So I wear a lot of patriotic stuff, and that's that just by hanging out with me, not even on the show. I wear it all the time.
Yeah.
But
no, he don't just come here and pretend.
No.
Hey, what's up, Bayonet? I'm glad you could join us. Jeremy says YouTube is working. Yes, we're aware YouTube's working, and I appreciate that. So, hey, Jeremy, if you wouldn't mind sharing the link on your page, just get people on over, and So
I kind of want to get Bayonet on the show sometime.
I know. We need to get him on there.
He needs to get
see
on
what kind of guy
and,
he really is.
When he's smoking that wheeze.
Hey, dude, seriously, let us know. We love having guests. Hit us up over on our website, and there's a nice big button right there for you to fill out to be on the show. We'd love to have you, man. Sorry. So Anyway.
He's pretty loyal dude, man. I got to give him that. He is pretty damn
yeah,
loyal.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. We need more people like you, and we really, really, really need some help sharing this out. So check this out. We've got a number of fun topics tonight, and I wanted to hit up because we talked about the Virginia March with Enrique Tarrio last Wednesday. So, and we weren't really sure what to happen. He was going to go there and attend. And we kind of speculated what might happen, but we didn't know. The mainstream
People
media
built this up like this was going to be another Charlottesville 2.0.
Yeah, the mainstream media,
which they also
really
said
pumped it up.
They also said the same thing about Murfreesboro because that was the first event after Charlottesville. We were there, and we saw how the police presence was very evident. It almost kind of seemed like it was military style the way they had everything set
it was
up.
kind of it was a little intimidating. Like these guys were like snipers on the roof and everything. Like,
they had snipers. They had the big what would look like SWAT vehicles. They had the drones. You remember seeing the drones?
Oh yeah, the drones that were flying around. That was unreal.
These guys were not having it. And then as we were making our way to the actual rally itself, they had everybody filtered in through these not gates, but I guess barriers. Yep. And it had a long list of stuff that you could not wear. You couldn't have any kind of lapel pins. You couldn't have any belts, and anything that had any kind of like sharp object, you couldn't have that on your body. Yeah. And it was just, you saw more shit. I don't know if you remember that, but if you looked over to the right, it had a bunch of stuff sitting over in the street where people had to take stuff off just to get into the event. Then coming to find out, the actual white supremacist group
never showed up.
Never showed up.
Chickened out.
And it was
but it was kind of messed up because the way they had it in that situation is like you basically had them coming into a square, like a funnel right in the middle. It's like, good luck having basically put their back to the wall. Really,
that was our
I wouldn't have shown up either.
That was our first true encounter with Antifa. Back then we weren't nearly as educated as we are now on Antifa, but we now looking back, I remember seeing their presence. You and I both have talked about that, so it's interesting.
All right, so I've got a couple people tuning into the Facebook group live stream. Lee and Rebecca, thanks for joining us. Check it out if you guys want to see like the actual video with all of our the actual video, head over to the YouTube channel. We're having issues right now with our Facebook live stream for some reason. Yeah. So it's not working.
This
so
is
you just see the green screen.
This right here is like the project version of the show, the Section 8 version.
Yeah, this is the Section 8 version of the show. Fantastic. That was a great analogy. All right. So it was interesting though as far as this Virginia March. The media pumped it up like crazy. They were going to act like there was some big breakout going to happen. You see them reporting on far right white supremacists are out marching in the streets, and really you just see a bunch of middle-aged dudes with their guns and their ammo and their gear and marching for their rights. And it was interesting because
what was even more interesting is that the Women's March was kind of paralleling this event that was going on. I think it was actually the weekend before the actual Second Amendment, rally that was going on. And I don't know if you saw the video of Steven Crowder, but he was trying to do Change My Mind at the Women's March. And there was a woman that came over and deliberately took the front off of his table where it has that poster that says Change My Mind.
Right.
And she tried to take that from the table, and they fought back to get that sign back. And it's like, why is it people from the left are so hostile and volatile when it comes to these protests, rallies, marches, whatever you want to call them. But yet you see the Second Amendment rally. Yeah. There was one arrest, dude, and that was it.
Hold that thought. Yeah, that's exactly where,
It's crazy, and people want to understand the difference as to why, but they want to blame it on racism. They want to blame it on this and that. I'm like, did it ever occur to you that people that believe in the Second Amendment are also pretty respectful people?
I don't know. I don't know. Alex Tremo from DLive says, I live in Mexico and can confirm Mexico has become the wall. Yeah, we'll definitely be getting to that here shortly. We just wanted to touch, basically do some housekeeping on some previous subjects first before we dive into all that.
Right.
So here, I want to play this clip by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez where she was discussing this exact thing. And it's kind of funny the way, just check this shit out.
Another thing that I've been really thinking and sitting with today is that there's this gun rights protest that's happening down in Richmond.
Right.
And
on MLK Day.
On MLK Day. But here's the image that has struck with me the most about that, is that when we go out and march for the dignity and the recognition of the lives of people like Freddie Gray and Eric Garner, The whole place is surrounded by police in riot gear without a gun in sight. And here are all of these people flying Confederate flags with semi-automatic weapons, and there's almost no police officers at that protest. So who or what are our institutions protecting from who?
Right. So, yeah.
And this is something that I have actually gotten into a conversation about on the Facebook group page about this.
Yeah.
So let me just kind of give you at least my perspective of this whole situation. So when you look at situations like Black Lives Matter, you look at Proud Boys Antifa, you look at the history with other organizations or groups, they have a history of being volatile, especially Black Lives Matter. During their protest or whatever, things get ugly, and then you have rioting. This has been well documented. It's one of the reasons why the police are kind of more heightened on the situation. No different than Proud Boys, have conflict with Antifa.
Yep.
They know that something's gonna clash here. The difference is, with the whole Virginia situation, if you're not up to date on it, a lot of the men and women from the sheriff's department believe in the Second Amendment. They joined this whole rally. That's why there wasn't a police presence. That's what people seem to forget. Also, with that being said, this is a rally that is protecting the constitutional Second Amendment right to bear arms.
Right.
If you're familiar with the Second Amendment, this is a part of what protects the first, the right to assemble. No different than the Women's March. No different than, any other time Proud Boys and Antifa have gotten together, or Black Lives Matters get together. But it's how the demographic of each group have represented themselves in such a way that now the police have to be involved because there's been a history of the violence and the way that they've treated the police or law enforcement. You didn't have that with this rally. Everybody expected something bad to happen from it. We even thought something might go down, but it never did. It went against the narrative of what everybody's been thinking.
We thought something might bad go down because we were hearing that Antifa was coming and going to dress up as patriots, and they were going to wear MAGA hats, and they were going to go in there and start some shit. That's why I thought something was going to happen, because somebody from the left, ironically, was going to be the ones to go in and stir the shit, and then the media would blame it on. It would be a perfect.
Yeah, I could see that, but I think Antifa realized that this was not a smart move for them to show up when you've got over 20,000 plus people with weapons.
It was a lot.
I mean, shit could go sideways, real quick.
I find it funny that she brought that up, because you can kind of tell when people talk what lens they're looking at it through, and she's coming from a very progressive. She's got the progressive lenses on. She's got the everything is racist lenses on.
Right.
And then so as such, her opinions on stuff are tainted in such a way that the thing she says is going to follow suit with that, and it makes sense.
Right.
So if you're standing on the outside though, and you're not wearing those glasses, you can clearly see that she totally fell on her face when she said this and didn't even realize it, because she's saying, "Okay, guys, why is it that the police have to show up in this big heavy gear to our events?" She tried to make it seem like it was just black events, which I'll get to that in a moment. But at these white events, they're just out there in normal gear, and there's barely any of them there, and there's guns everywhere.
First of all,
it's funny that she kind of. The reason I think it's funny is because she said it trying to race bait, really.
Yeah. I hate when people do that shit, dude.
But
that gets under
really
my
just
skin.
kind of proved the whole point of the whole rally to begin with.
Right.
And so what I was alluding to there is all of these events that are done properly. They go through the right channels. They go to fill out the paperwork and get the permits to have other rallies. Those events, whether they're left or right, tend to have not as much of a police presence because they're not as much of a threat. But when there's like these kind of organized rallies or organized riots that happen, and police show up, is because they're expecting some shit, because they have a past history of seeing that shit happening. Yeah. So that it's just an appropriate response. It's like, come on, lady, you got to take the glasses off for 5 minutes and see this for what it is.
Right. Not every and let me just clarify something. Not every Black Lives Matter, not every situation between Antifa and Proud Boys has ever turned, violent. We saw what happened up in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
We had Enrique on the show right after, the demonstration that took place up there in Portland.
Right.
And like Enrique said, they went up there, they wanted to show their presence, and they did a prayer. That was the gist of it. That was the end of it.
Yeah, that was it.
They didn't want anything to come of it.
Right.
But here's the thing. It's like because Antifa shows that history, that path that has now been laid between the two, groups, the police know what to expect.
Right.
And this has been an ongoing issue up in Portland for a long time now.
Yeah, it's kind of become a repetitive process.
Right, and which a lot of people don't understand is that for many, many months and...
Go ahead, just some fuzz on there bothering me.
Okay. So for many, many months, this was going on, and because of what we do for the show, we were more inclined to know what was going on, whereas the most average, everyday person didn't know what was going on up in Portland.
Yeah.
Had no clue.
Yeah, I talk to guys at work all the time. I'm like, I'll start talking about stuff. Oh, he's such and such from the Proud Boys. We had him on our show, and they're like, looking at me blank stare. Who's Proud Boys? Oh, they're the ones that go. They're kind of there, go against Antifa a little bit. They got some. Who's Antifa? I'm like, most people don't know. They just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They just don't. They don't have time for this.
Right. Because people actually have a life.
How the hell is that possible?
What?
How did you say LOL on our YouTube video? How did you do that? Somebody hacked your YouTube account.
I'm thinking you're probably right.
Oh, that's creepy.
Need to look into that, huh?
Hey, so welcome to the show, Anthony. Thanks for watching.
That's got me a little concerned.
Unless somebody else changed their name to Anthony Treywick just to screw with you.
That's
just pop in and say LOL.
Gonna have to look into that one, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, is there anything else you had to cover?
Oh, it's my daughter.
Oh, hi, Dad. Oh, hi.
Oh, this just got awkward.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly, sweetheart, time for bed. This is not a show for you to watch.
Oh, Dad.
I forgot what I did. Okay, so a little bit of backstory behind this. Kelly got a laptop for. I'm gonna have to change this.
You get a pat on the head.
Oh my God, I feel like I.
Now you're like I gotta watch my mouth.
So okay, what happened? Oh man,
watch your comments, folks.
I really am, and sweetheart, if you're watching this, you need to probably not watch this. Okay. I came because of the lady. Oh boy. So what happened was for Christmas, my daughter got a laptop for school, and I had to set it up for her to be able to access.
You logged into your Google account.
So I logged into my Google account for her to be able to. Oh man.
Yep.
Okay.
Now what to do? I think we'll be okay.
Kelly. Sweetheart, this is not appropriate show for you, baby.
Aside,
I love you so much. I miss you, but you need to probably go ahead and do something else with your time.
You're not going to have any idea if she's still watching in the shadows. What to do?
And I can't call her because we're live streaming on my phone.
You're in a pickle. Dad's in a pickle.
If you want to see me uncomfortable, here you go.
Anthony's so uncomfortable. That's adorable. All right.
Who is Silly Red? Oh, that must...
Silly Redhead. I don't know.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, Silly Redhead. Thanks for joining us. Please like, share, subscribe, etc., etc. That would be great.
She says, miss you, and I'll switch to my mom's account. I miss you too, baby, and I love you. And
right.
Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And
your daughter's such a great girl.
I know, she's
amazing. Oh, right.
This just made like seeing my name pop up and then the yellow well. It really just baffled both.
You just threw you for a loop, dude.
I'm like, dude, somebody hacked my account. I'm gonna have to
which is
figure
great
this
because
out.
we weren't like in the middle of a topic, so this can be its own segment. Cool. We can just hop right to the next one. You ready? All right.
I'm not gonna know if she's watched it or not. Dude.
No, you have no way to tell, and you're just gonna have to trust her. Trust your kid, man.
Oh man,
she's a good kid. All right, so
I feel so uncomfortable.
So
right
here's the next thing. So here, this is This is interesting. The media hasn't been covering the whole immigration issue for a while for some reason. They've been so dead focused on.
I don't cuss in front of my daughter, dude.
Do you not?
No.
Oh boy, now I feel bad about cussing in my own house around your daughter.
Look, she's still on. She hasn't switched off.
Did we just cancel the show?
Yeah, Dad. Trust me. Oh crap. Okay.
Wait. She put two E's on the end of that. That's code. That's code.
I don't even know what to do here.
What can you do?
There is not a lot that keeps me speechless or makes me feel uncomfortable. Here we go. This has got me really.
We're going to have to move forward. We got to keep plowing forward.
I know. So every time you cuss, I'm gonna have to slap the crap out of you. Look, I almost
See,
said.
oh yeah. All right.
Oh.
All right. We'll see it. We'll see if we. Yeah. Internet safety for kids. That's great. Silly Redhead says internet safety for kids. Okay.
She's gonna stay on here. I know my daughter. She wants to see her dad, and I like that. You know, she misses me, and that's cool. But
yeah.
I'm sweating over here, man.
Alex Tremo from D Live said, "I'm cool with no cussing. I respect that upbringing style." And it is kind of interesting because you and I raise our kids a little differently.
Right.
Of course, I cuss and I allow my kids to cuss, but they don't cuss. They just feel uncomfortable. But I just can't. I can't hold myself to a standard that I can't hold my kids to a standard that I'm not going to hold myself to.
Right.
And after a while, I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to cuss, I can't get mad at them for cussing.
I mean, there's been
and
times,
they're learning about it at their own school.
There's been times where I've slipped up.
Yeah.
But for the overall general sense of conversation when I'm around her, I don't use language. And that's very hard for people to think that I don't do because of my personality away from my daughter.
It's a time and a place thing, man. I mean, as long as the kids know the time and the place, which my kids are, I don't think I've heard them. I've heard my oldest cuss, and she's 18.
Yeah.
That's it. The other ones are like, nah, I'm not going to cuss. They even talk around the words.
Yeah, so this is...
I was like, even though they're allowed to cuss, my mom washed my mouth out with soap. Like when I cussed, like I actually had a bar of soap scraped across the top of my teeth for cussing.
Maybe this is a good thing that my daughter hopped on because maybe it kind of puts me in check a little bit.
That's all right.
She's like, I'm checking on you, Dad.
That's all right. So let's move on forwards.
Okay,
all right. Because I want to make sure I have time to cover all this.
No, it's fine. It's just, you know.
So basically, the big thing we've all been focusing on the trial, the impeachment trial, and is nobody gives a shit about. I don't care about. I don't even know what they're impeaching him for. At this point, I've stopped totally paying attention, and I kind of am interested in this stuff. I just don't care. But it's interesting because there are some big moves going on behind the scenes, and nobody's noticing them. There are some wins that Trump is getting, which is why the mainstream media is not covering these things. Case in point, one of the things that I wanted to bring up was about Mexico basically becoming the wall now.
Right.
Okay, because I've heard about, at least recently in the news, we had a couple immigrant caravans try to make a rush for the border again, and they got stopped before they even made it across the Mexican border. They're stopping it there.
Here's the thing, though, because of everything that's going on with the impeachment process. If you really think back, we have heard zero zilch about anything going on down in Mexico or even at the border. I have not heard anything.
All of a sudden, Trump. I've heard stuff, but I'm listening to alternative news sources and I'm listening to guys that pay attention to this stuff. So I'm kind of a little bit familiar with that, and less so about the impeachment because nobody,
but it's not.
Honestly,
it's not
the average person don't give a
and,
shit.
Yeah, and it's not magnified.
And
it's
it won't
not
be. Yeah.
in that spotlight as it once was.
Because it makes Trump look good
but
in the eyes of his constituents. And we can't have
but
that.
We're also in an election year, so you would think. I'm personally thinking that we're going to see a surge of illegal immigration probably come up sometime near the spring or probably the summer is where I'm kind of gauging that.
It's possible.
So,
it's possible.
Yeah.
So Alex Tremo from D Live says they tried to stop the caravans, but the current Mexican president is a huge lefty. Now I have heard about that, and that's presents its own set of challenges as well. I can't remember what the guy's name was on the Joe Rogan Experience. I heard talking about the cartels and stuff down there. And the way they work hand in hand with the government. It's like the government swapping so often new leaders, and then by the time you finally get something established, they're swapping leaders again, much like we have. Every 4 to 8 years we're swapping leaders. It's like ridiculous. It's just not a way to run a long-term strategy on for any country.
Right.
But we have what we have, and they have what they have, so we're working with it. We're dealing with it. But what I really wanted to talk about was there's a thing called birth tourism. Okay, birth tourism. Have you
I
heard of
have
this before?
no
See, this is
clue
interesting
what this
because
is.
it's a huge multi-million-dollar industry right now. Okay, that's going on.
When you say that, I imagine going on vacation as a tourist, and and I don't know if she's on, but you're doing things that you typically would do on vacation, and then end up getting pregnant. I don't know. That's kind of what I took away from that.
Basically,
I'm fixing to go on vacation, so
all right. So birth. I forgot to shut down my Telegram. That's annoying as hell.
Yeah.
You shut up. I don't want to hear no notifications from you right now. All right, so birth tourism, I just went to the wiki for the quick explanation of what birth tourism is, but basically birth tourism is a practice of traveling to another country for the purpose of giving birth in that country. The main reason for birth tourism is to obtain citizenship for the child in a country with birthright citizenship.
Those are anchor babies, right?
Anchor babies.
Yeah.
So anchor babies is a thing that we allow, that we have the laws for it, and there's an industry built up around having people come in, fly in, have your baby, fly on back home, and you've got a kid with either dual citizenship or U.S. citizenship.
It's kind of like drop it. It's okay. Perfect analogy. It's like driving in your car. You got to take a shit. You could stop at any store on the way before I get to your house to do this, but I specifically decide to hold it until I get here, and then I'm dropping a deuce. Hey, I got to go.
Or you're doing it in the nicest bathroom that you're aware of.
Yeah.
You will not shit anywhere else. You're going to go do it in that bathroom, the one that offers benefits for U.S. citizens, protections for U.S. citizens that the rest of the world doesn't have.
Right, because I know I'm going to get the
welfare
nicest toilet
benefits.
paper. I know
That's
I'm
right. You're
going to
get like triple
toilet
ply.
seat
It's like you're going to have a warmed seat there when you get there. Like the bathtub is going to have jets in it. It's basically a jacuzzi tub. Like
what is it? The little thing that squirts up on your
a bidet.
Bidet.
Yeah. This particular bathroom is going to have a bidet, so that's where you choose to. That's called your shit tourism.
Taking the kids to the swimming pool.
That's right. So that being said, let me play this quick clip by. It'll be about 2-minute long clip here by.
We're gonna watch the whole thing.
No.
Okay.
Not 24 minutes. No, it's
I was like, what?
no. I'm going to play the first couple minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, this is Tim Pool on the topic of the new migrant caravan. But just to kind of get us set up for the next few topics here.
The latest migrant caravan just tried rushing the Mexican border and failed. In response to this, it seems like a new migrant caravan is forming. That's at least the reporting we have for now. So this may be 2 different migrant caravans. And this news is kind of coming back. But here's the big difference. Back when we saw all of the migrant caravan news a year or 2 ago, there was serious concern about their safety as well as what would happen once they got to the U.S. border. Donald Trump implemented a ton of policy changes, notably the Migrant Protection Protocols, or Remain in Mexico policy. Many of the migrants then had to return to Mexico after they applied for asylum. Many actually left. People then started joking that Mexico was the wall, as the Mexican government announced they were going to start deterring these migrant caravans. And now we're seeing it. We may now have, I think, according to this new...
Oh, and why does Mexico decide to do that? Just out of the goodness of their own heart? No, it's because Trump's likely withholding aid to the country if they don't.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's a negotiating tool.
This was something that was discussed.
Wait, isn't that what he was doing with the Ukraine? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this was something that was discussed back when we covered it. And when he was going to pull funding, it takes some time to see the ripple effect of now what this has caused.
Yeah, it actually he's doing it. Yeah, it's being done.
Right.
But have you heard about this?
No.
Most people have not. So here you go. We're actually
no
going to tell you.
different than Obama, separating families at the border
Right.
and keeping kids and families in cages. Nobody heard about that.
So we got about one more minute of this here, and then we'll move on.
New York Times reporter, 2 new caravans forming in 2020. And the Mexican government seems to have stopped it dead in their tracks. Some people are accepting asylum, my understanding, in Mexico, but we'll read through the story, see what's going on. And Donald Trump is now escalating his rules targeting birth tourism. He's going to be implementing new rules to stop people who fly into the U.S. just to give birth so their child can have American citizenship. Trump is actually taking more action. So even though the migrant caravan story kind of died out, and even now, they're not making it even to Mexico, Trump isn't backing down. More money is being appropriated for the border wall. Right now, I believe it's at around $11 billion. Trump is still building. They are commemorating 100 miles of new border wall And Trump is enacting new policies, even in the face of the defeat of this migrant caravan. I know, a lot of people are going to be mad saying, Tim, don't call it a defeat. These are people. Listen. The migrant caravan tried getting to Mexico. They could not do it. And here we are in the face of all of the latest news and Trump's new policies. He's not backing down.
All right. So there's that. That's fun.
Okay, well, that just stopped the live stream.
Oh, just pause that one.
So,
yeah.
this is Kelly's mom.
Okay.
Hang on a second. I guess apparently
Put that shit on speakerphone.
No, it's just a text. It says, I want you to know I'm pissing myself laughing right now.
Fabulous.
OMG.
This is getting better and better.
Okay.
By the
so
moment.
Anytime you text me and I'm in the middle of a live feed, it'll turn it off. So, yeah.
Oh, I thought I just paused it. Oh well, there wasn't nobody watching. Anyway, so if you're still watching, thank you for hanging in there with us as we work through these particular issues. So this is from the. You got it.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm good. Let's continue.
So how big of a problem is birth tourism, you might ask?
It might be bigger than we realize.
According to the Center for Immigration Studies, a new estimate, 72,000 births annually to tourists, foreign students, and other visitors. This came out on December 11th of last year. So that's pretty recent data we have to work with. So basically it's saying there may be as many as 33,000 birth tourists annually and 72,000 amongst tourists, foreign students, and other visitors. Goes on to say births to long-term temporary visitors. It says the government estimates that in 2016 there were 800,000 women. Oh, it just breaks down the numbers. Sorry, I wanted to get to the birth tourism portion because this is what we're talking about. So many news stories in recent years have focused on birth tourism, which describes the phenomenon of pregnant women coming to America shortly before their due dates so their children are born in the United States and are awarded U.S. citizenship. Based on a comparison of birth records and Census Bureau data, we estimate there were 33,000 births to women on tourist visas in the second half of 2016 and the first half of 2017. This translates to perhaps 330,000 such births each decade. All right, so we're talking about quite a few people that are taking advantage of this. So while there is a significant uncertainty around this number, our new estimate is very similar to our prior estimate for second half of 2011 and first half of 2012. It should be emphasized that the small number of mothers who provide a foreign address on birth documents are probably not birth tourists, as those engaged in birth tourism likely list as a U.S. address so they can receive birth certificates and passports before returning to their home country. These addresses are typically a relative's or residence arranged by those quote-unquote selling birth tourism services. Fun time. So I then got to ask you what you know. Okay, so this article from IMTJ was written back in 2017, where Trump plans to combat birth tourism, and he was using some of those same numbers that probably the numbers that they quoted from 2011 and 2012. Right. Trump claims, quote unquote, Trump claims, quote, the right of land guaranteeing citizenship to all children born in the U.S. should be abolished, as 7.5% of all births in the U.S. are to illegal immigrants, over 300,000 babies per year. This must stop. It is unaffordable and not right. Automatic citizenship for babies in the U.S. is the biggest magnet for illegal immigration, so this practice should be abolished. Yeah.
I don't really have any... I don't know, man. That's something I really probably would never discuss with anyone in my normal circle of friends. I mean, probably most people are not even aware of this.
Right. Yeah. I brought it up to a few people at work, and nobody's heard of it.
I don't think people just don't care. It's not something that's been talked about, discussed, or highlighted in the media. It's amazing what all Trump has to constantly combat when he's in office, that a lot of us are just not aware of.
Yeah, so I'm reading here. I think it's around 30 countries offer birthright citizenship or something like that. Out of roughly 200 countries. I don't really know, but that's quite a bit.
Yeah, it is.
There's quite a bit of countries that offer it, and it's interesting that it's happening here. I'd be curious to see the numbers of other countries that have a booming birth tourism industry going on.
If we find the statistics on that, we'll get them posted. Whoa, got a lot going on. We'll we'll definitely provide the link once we find something out, and if we have other credible sources that can give us the actual numbers and statistics.
Yep.
We'll get
So
that uploaded.
as Tim was alluding to in that little clip I played for you guys, birth tourism is Trump's next immigration target. And here's a basic breakdown. Now, this was from Axios, so it's a little bit slanted to the left, I've noticed, in the way they've written this. But basically, why it matters. Trump has threatened to end birthright citizenship and railed against immigrant, quote-unquote, anchor babies. The new rule would be one of the first tangible steps to test how much legal authority the administration has to prevent foreigners from taking advantage of the 14th Amendment's protection of citizenship for anyone born in the U.S. So birth tourists often come to the U.S. from China, Russia, and Nigeria, according to the AP. There's no official count of babies born to foreign visitors in the U.S., while the immigration restrictionist group, see, that's where I noticed they were very leftily, while the immigration restrictionist group, Center for Immigration Studies, now, listen, folks, this is an important thing you got to notice when you're reading different topics on the internet, is sometimes they'll throw in these different adjectives ahead of someone's name to try to paint a picture of how you should feel about that person or that group or that entity before actually going into what the actual facts are. So what they should have said
pulls at the emotion.
Right. So what they should have said is there's no official count of babies born to foreign visitors in the U.S. The Center for Immigration Studies, which has close ties to Trump administration immigration officials. Hold on. Now you don't even need that.
No.
All you needed was Center for Immigration Studies puts estimates around 33,000 every year. Simple. Keep it simple, folks. Otherwise, you're trying to propagandize us. You gotta be on the lookout for this stuff. I'm telling you. This anyway. The facts are still there. The facts are correct as far as that, but they do try to tint it with their own narrative. So they go on to talk about how the regulation would work, and that's what I was kind of interested about finding out myself after hearing about it. It says it would alter the requirements for B visas or visitor visas, giving State Department officials the authority to deny foreigners the short-term business and tourism visas if they believe the process is being used to facilitate automatic citizenship. It's clear yet how the rule would be enforced, whether officials would be directed to consider pregnancy or the country of the woman's citizenship in determining whether to grant a visa. Consular officers, I have never read that word in my life. Consular officers who issue passports and visas are remarkably skilled at sussing out true versions versus false claims, the senior officials said. Yeah.
It would be interesting to watch this over the next few months, especially leading up to the 2020 election.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it makes, I don't think it's going to make, mainstream media, but it could. It depends on how the media wants to swing this. If it's more in favor of pulling at the heartstrings and making people feel bad, I can see a lot of CNN doing something like that. Fox will probably spin it to where this is a great policy. This is going to cut down on X, Y, and Z. Yeah. You know how this goes.
Well, see, here's the trouble though. They pointed out what to watch for some things as far as like proving it in court. Whether or not you're there. If somebody wants to challenge it, they say State Department officials have all the discretion in the world to deny people visas. Said Sarah Pierce of the Migration Policy Institute. Foreign nationals who are outside the U.S. and have not yet received visas, quote unquote, don't have a lot of legal standing. But specific restrictions that could keep out non-birth tourism visitors, such as pregnant women coming to the U.S. for business, would be legally questionable. Now that makes sense. So that was my first thought is, from a if you take it from a leftist perspective, looking at this, what I'm hearing is, now these immigration officials can just arbitrarily decide to just keep women out. It's
discrimination.
Yeah, you could argue that it would be discrimination against women. Mm-hmm. However, the point is these are not legal citizens that are protected under our citizenship laws, so they don't really get the same legal protections that everybody else does. So there's that loophole. It's like, you see, this is why I'm an anarchist, man.
Well, no,
we wouldn't have to worry about this minutia
touching on
bullshit.
Something that probably most of us are not aware of, and if we are, it kind of educate, it's people such as myself that knew of anchor babies, but didn't know the extent of how far this does reach. And now that we're sitting here reading this, I'm thinking, damn, there's more to this.
Yeah.
Than I
mean,
realized.
basically, before I heard about anchor baby, birth tourism, my understanding of anchor babies and how it was being abused or being used was basically people would come to the country and have babies, and then you'd have illegal immigrants were coming to the country having babies, and now you have an anchor baby that's a U.S. citizen. I didn't, and then I heard birth tourism, and I heard it was a multi-million-dollar industry, and I'm like, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense. Like when you put restrictions, there's going to be people that still want it, so you're going to have a market for it.
Right.
Duh. It made perfect sense, but I couldn't believe I didn't even think of it because I don't think that way. But the fact is, it's a thing. People are doing it. So
it is.
Have fun with that, folks. Anyway, so
tell the fine people about our new segment that we currently started last year. Well, towards the end of last year, but we have had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah. So we got a new segment for the show. Let's hit the chats before we hit that because I think that's going to be our last thing.
Wow,
all right.
Well,
hey, thanks for participating, Alex Tremo. You're amazing.
Seal Redhead said,
so
he
he says they tried to stop the caravans, but we already read that. He admires Hugo Chavez and recently gave political asylum to Evo Morales. I am unaware of Evo Morales. I feel like I have some studying to do. I apologize. It's a fancier name for anchor babies. Oh, Evo Morales. Okay. So Evo Morales is their version of anchor babies, is what I'm to understand. That's why you guys need to enforce your borders. No shit. I think that's a number one topic on most Americans' minds, but our fucking politicians can't seem to get the idea that maybe that's what the people want.
Right.
Very much so they don't seem to want it because it's much better to keep us beaten and battered down. You bring in these immigrants, they have babies that tend to vote for the left, so there's why the left's interested in it.
Right.
The right loves the cheap labor, so it's basically a great idea to keep unemployment really low by flooding the market with a bunch of extra low-paid, unskilled labor. And then you get to boast about how the economy's doing great. That's what you get to do, and then people vote for you again. Anyway, get off my soapbox for a moment. Silly Redhead from YouTube. She says, that is so true. I'm from Southern California. We saw it all the time. Very common for pregnant immigrants to scoot on over to give birth. Then I, the taxpayer, cover it. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it's not a cool position to put people in. I mean, even if you are willing to pay taxes, I mean, that's still a just straight up theft out of your pocket. Straight up. I mean, I don't see any other way of looking at it. First of all, you already come out of the country illegally. You're breaking that law. And then you're having a baby that's going to be covered by your tax money. I mean, that's breaking, I would say, a very moral law in terms of theft. Yeah.
Alex goes on to says that your show is very interesting. I'm liking it a lot. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I sure appreciate that. I don't see where you're seeing that.
It's
I think you're making it up.
The bottom.
Did I not make it down there yet?
No.
All right. So I definitely appreciate y'all hanging out in the comments as well. Yeah, we do try to keep it interesting, keep it fun, keep it. We talk about social issues.
But he's from Mexico, so I love the fact that we're gaining some insight from somebody from there.
Yeah.
And then you got Myra who lives in Texas, and it's like we're getting both sides of the spectrum.
Right.
I love that.
That was just very fortunate that we happened to have somebody from Mexico join the live stream while we were talking about this very topic.
Cool.
So that was, and I thank you very much. But yeah, we talk about bold ideas, social issues, relationships and LOLs. Yep. I'm still trying to get those down.
We like memes.
Yeah, we like funny stuff. So
we don't always
speaking of funny stuff,
we don't always have to put things with memes.
Yeah, we've got it. Fuck off,
dude. That's like what I'm known for in the group.
No, memes are fine. Memes are fine.
I know.
Anyway, it's just So, by the way, we have a fantastic Facebook group. I freaking love these people. It's been a great time. Check out facebook.com/groups/unframe of mind.
No. Unframed minds.
No. The URL is facebook.com/groups.
/groups. Okay, I got
Unframe of mind.
Yeah.
Yep. The group is called Unframed Minds.
Right.
But
just give him the
URL is simple, like everything. I try to keep it simple. Like if you want to find us anywhere,
simplify it.
Unframe of Mind. We're there. We are there. All right.
Sorry, but Anthony's daughter stole the show.
Stole the show. Way to go. Thanks a lot. That's what we need. We need more of that. Anyway, so our new segment for the show, we call it what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck is that on Wish? And today, we haven't made an official graphic for that. So
I can't wait to do the jingle for this
we just
one.
read it. Oh, man. Hey, if anybody wants to make that for us, that'd be great. So today on What the Fuck Is That on Wish, we've got this product called Nothing for those who have everything
and just want nothing to go with their everything.
So we have
people are paying for this shit, man.
For those of you who are only listening in the podcast version of this, we have a very nice, well-designed looking package with what looks like a plastic ball
of nothing.
Of nothing. It's just a clear plastic ball. Basically,
people make money off of this, dude. That's what's
it's the novelty of it. It's
messed up about.
No, you're just mad because you didn't fucking think of this, and you're still here doing this shit with me instead of being a multimillionaire off of selling nothing.
Yeah,
you're like,
for $2 a pop. Let me say
guarantee
nothing.
I guarantee
that's
you.
like me selling jars of fresh air from the foothills of Montana.
Right.
You know, it's just. So here's the thing: for the people not familiar with the segment, we had. What was it? Just before the end of the year, I came to you with the idea, or I sent you something that was off a Wish. When you scroll through Facebook, and if you've recently liked something or seen something on, Google, it'll pop up in your feed, and it did with Wish. So I sent you over this, and then we got to talking about it, and all of a sudden, it just turned into a new segment. I love it because Wish has got some really just weird shit on there.
It does. It really does. This is probably.
This is
honestly, this is probably the most tame thing we've seen. We've done on the show. So.
Oh yeah, there's going to be more to come.
Good thing this is the one we covered while your daughter may or may not be watching the show.
Yeah, God, I hope she's not. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So nothing.
So I guarantee you, the guy that created this, or the girl that created this, I'm an equal opportunity, whatever, or non-gender conforming inventor who
non-binary.
That just hurts my feelings to have to say that out loud.
Did you ever think that we would come to a point in our lives where we would be in a situation where we have to say that now?
No, I don't have to, but it's just weird. It's like
I know
it's a thing, but it's not a thing.
That's like pronouns. It's like why do we have to use
people
pronouns?
People think it's a thing, and then other people think it's not a thing. Anyway,
it's
speaking of nothing, why are we? Wait, it's over here.
Yeah, it's over here.
Nothing. All right. So I guarantee you, the guy who created this was looking at the guy who created the pet rock and said,
"Pet rock.
Bitch, I got you."
Wait a minute. There's actually a pet. Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
there's
pet rock from back like 80s, 90s or something.
Yeah, I think it was early 90s.
Long time ago.
Was, yeah.
It's like, so if you can sell a pet rock, bitch, I got this. I'll one up you right here. I'm going to sell nothing.
So here's the thing, though, and what blows my mind is that people feed into this stuff. That just irritates. That triggers me. It's like people actually buy this stuff. It becomes a fad thing, and then I'm thinking. Of course, now you and I are over here sitting here like, yeah, we so should have thought of doing that, and we didn't, It's just a part of life.
Yep.
We need to come up with something so stupid. Of course, though we do, and it just won't sell, but...
Hey, only
put it
one way
on
to
Wish,
find
man.
out.
$2 and I'll say it. Nothing.
Alrighty, so this has been another episode of the Unframe of Mind show. It's
Dude,
been
10
a lot
minutes
of fun.
early?
Hey, that's all right. Well, sometimes we go 10 minutes over. Sometimes we're done a little early, but I mean, I'm good with topics.
Oh, hey.
Did you have something else?
Yeah, real quick.
Oh,
The Wednesday before Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
We're bringing back the bathrobes.
The bathrobe edition.
Part 2.
I think that would be a fantastic.
I still can't believe how many people love that one. That just blows my mind. That video or that segment in its entirety. If you haven't seen it, go back to our YouTube channel. And if you go back and watch it, we actually had a really good conversation because we brought up the case in point about your daughter's friend and kind of touched on the whole parenting aspect. But yeah, just the whole bathrobe.
Yep.
Just
We're doing bathrobes again, folks.
Yeah, so you definitely want to go check that one out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bearskin rug and fireplace.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be nice. Hot chocolate.
Little,
This is getting sensual. I might even light a candle, as much.
You going to rub my feet?
I may. If I mean, stay tuned in and find out.
Get a bigger studio. We can do a lot.
Tune in and find out. Yeah. We spread out, rubbing each other's feet, just talking. Because that's how dudes have a social discourse.
Cloud9 Custom says, "Fuck yes, bathrobes."
That's
It's just-
Jeremy.
I know.
That's Jeremy.
I know, but I just call him by his YouTube name. But
Gotcha,
it is
gotcha.
funny how people have somehow gravitated to that one episode.
I don't know.
It's
It's
just
great. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's fun. I don't mind. Look, listen, that's just it. We can't take ourselves too seriously. We got to realize, yes, there's a lot of problems in the world. There's a lot of issues that everybody wants to discuss and wants to focus on, and the mainstream media is definitely not helping when they sit there and take a magnifying glass and you're already wearing your little racist lenses, and then the media puts the other magnifying glass in front of your little racist lenses, and now everything's gonna die tomorrow. It's like, y'all need to calm down. So take a second.
We got to talk about the challenge.
The challenge? No, we're not yet. No. I don't even know if that's official. I don't even know if that's official. I just yeah. So
I mean,
don't worry
even
about
if
that.
he's not involved, we can still
Ignore
do
that.
something.
Ignore that.
Hey, what
Ignore
happened
him.
to us doing our yoga?
Yeah, I think that'll come up soon. I think it'll come up soon.
I need to get that butthole.
Yeah, I dropped that. The butthole sunning. Yeah, come out and join us for our annual butthole sunning session. We're gonna have it on. All right, y'all been watching Unframe of Mind.
It's been another.
It's definitely been another uncomfortable conversation.
This was really uncomfortable for me.
And if you're telling people about the show and they're like, what is it? Just tell them it's basically highbrow ideas in lowbrow packaging. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Or two white guys just doing their thing.
Mansplaining to the world. So thanks for tuning in.
We're racist.
We will be back next
Homophobic.
Wednesday
Yeah.
at 7 p.m. Central, and I look forward to interacting